Today I want to talk to you about the history of the Blue Mountains, my home. Specifically, the indigenous history of the Darug and Gundungurra tribes that used to run this land.
The 1813 crossing of the Blue Mountains is a legend that has obfuscated the indigenous history of the Blue Mountains. It was led by Gregory Blaxland, William Lawson, and William Charles Wentworth. This is unfortunately a case of colonial history being prized over indigenous history. The Gundungurra people from the northern Blue Mountains have many different ways you could spell their name or even pronounce it. However, Gundungurra is the most cited one. Their language family is Pama-Nyungan, their language branch is Yuin-Kuduk, and their language group is Ngunnawal. So they're very similar. However, they might pronounce a word slightly differently, maybe even a little bit of a different spelling. They might even have a different word entirely for an object or attribute a slightly different meaning to it. Small changes are often what distinguishes a language of one indigenous tribe to another if they're close to one another. The further away you get, the more likely that you're going to see different words entirely.
The Gundungurra people have a really unique relationship with land because their land encompasses both rivers and mountain ranges. So their land encompasses the Blue Mountains and the Great Dividing Range. It also encompasses the Nepean River, Warragamba Dam, Cox's and Wollondilly rivers. They were all incredibly paramount in shaping the land and how the Gundungurra people used the land. They weren't just fishers, they weren't just farmers. They had to know how to traverse the Blue Mountains, and the species that often live in the Blue Mountains, like the kangaroos, were really, really abundant, so they were hunters as well. It's all very interesting how they related to the land simply because their land encompassed so many different things.
The Darug people used a variety of different languages, but all under the same language family, Pama-Nyungan, and language branch, Yuin-Kuduk, as the Gundungurra people. The group dialects are Darug, Gamayagal, and Eora. The Darug language is unfortunately now largely considered extinct. They were surrounded by many other Aboriginal tribes, so therefore they adopted a lot of the other tribes' group dialects. It's quite interesting to contrast the social organisation of the Darug people to the Gundungurra people. Unlike the Gundungurra people, the Darug people were quite divided. There were the eastern Darug people who lived their life centred around the river. They went fishing, they built canoes, and in contrast, the inland Darug people often hunted kangaroos and emus, used stone tools more extensively. So you can see how the landscape, whether it was plains or mountainous compared to near rivers, really shaped the social organisation of the Darug people.
So I want to end my presentation on a bit of a sweet and sour note. This information is incredibly hard to access. I even tried reaching out to my mayor to little avail. I still want to pursue the opportunity to try speak to someone from Darug or Gundungurra so that I can learn more about the indigenous history of my land. I want to do this because I think it's so important. We need to learn more about our land's history before colonialism so that we can understand the effects of colonization on our history. I also think we need to be respectful of our land, and to have respect for our land also includes the history that it encompasses. I think speaking to an Aboriginal person will be really, really crucial because traditionally the history was handed down orally, so I think it'll be an amazing experience that I want to pursue outside this subject.